Not into long podcasts? Don't worry, we've got bite-sized clips just for you. This is CWN Clips. Please don't forget to subscribe.
I wanted to deep dive on your PLOS One study. You conducted a large-scale survey on dogs fed on vegan diets, right? So maybe share some takeaways and specific data points and health outcomes, right, for the audience to actually know.
I mean, absolutely. We had more than 2,500 dogs were fed either vegan diets or conventional meat or raw meat for at least 1 year. And these were dogs in people's private homes. And we studied what the health outcomes were. We found that on average, dogs fed the vegan diets were actually healthier than dogs fed the other dietary types. We found, for example, that compared to dogs fed conventional meat, when they were fed vegan diets, on average, they had 1/5 less veterinary visits. They had 1/3 less medication usage. They were less likely to be considered by their vets to be unwell. The owners were less likely to consider them to be unwell. If they were unwell, they got less illnesses, and the illness was less severe. So this was fantastic news. There have now been 11 studies actually looking at health outcomes in dogs fed vegan versus meat-based diets, vegan or vegetarian. Our study was the largest, but there have been quite a lot of others as well. Some of those have also used veterinary clinical examinations, blood tests, x-rays, nutrient levels within the blood, biomarkers of organ health. So all sorts of different data points. And they all have consistent outcomes. The animals fed the vegan diets, usually, occasionally vegetarian, have equivalent or better health outcomes. And there seem to be two areas in which health is consistently improved across multiple studies. One seems to be related to less consumption of dietary allergens for dogs that have dietary sensitivities or allergies. 80% of these dietary allergens are animal sourced. And when you cut out the animal ingredients, you get reductions in gastrointestinal problems, itchy skin, and itchy ear canals. These are really common in dogs, and they reduce quality of life. So those problems consistently resolve. The second thing is that about half of all dogs today are overweight or obese. They consistently slim down and are more likely to achieve a healthy body weight. They have improvements in mobility, and they have a reduction in musculoskeletal disorders. So if we have dogs that are potentially living an extra, the equivalent of a human living an extra decade or more, according to a really big study from a leading veterinary school in Canada, and those dogs also have better mobility, can be more active, they have less itchy skin and less ear canal problems, then they have better quality of life as well as greater quantity of life. Now, that's really exciting for those dogs, and yet that's nothing compared to the environmental benefits and the benefits for the so-called food animals being killed in the food system, or so many lives can be saved through vegan diets for dogs. So there are these really exciting benefits, actually. So that's what we found in our study, and that was hugely exciting. It was published by more than 400 news outlets around the world, including in New Scientist, actually. But it's not the only one. I'd say there have been 10 others showing similar outcomes, actually, published in scientific journals, including 2 veterinary student master's theses, but the rest are peer-reviewed studies published in scientific journals.
Amazing to hear, especially when you have a lot of data points, which is actually proving that these are helping the animals to live a healthier and better life. Nobody can dispute, right? Because
it makes sense logically. If you design a diet which meets all the animal's nutritional needs, because you've added all the right vitamins, minerals, and you've made sure that nutrient levels are correct, but you eliminate common dietary hazards, and the most common one would be animal-sourced allergens for dogs with dietary sensitivities and allergies, then you should expect health outcomes to be as good and sometimes better for dogs that had reactions to dietary allergens. And that's exactly what you see in all the studies. So it's exactly what you should expect if you are willing to be rational and logical about this.
I mean, there are a lot of irrational and illogical arguments which people make. Like, I mean, we have to just disregard them and then move forward. That's the way to go. And you talked a specific symptom about itchy. The itchiness is being reduced because if I look at the research, the general, I mean, if you see cat or dogs, their tendency to scratch is more with their legs. Right? So, I mean, if not many of them are aware of why they are doing that, and there's no known causes and things because it's been a habit, right? That's how. But if you observe that they do less of that through the modification of diet, which is amazing, right? So, I mean, you have data points to prove, and not many owners knows a lot of all the symptoms and allergies which the pets have. Then a vet like you can really spot that.
Yeah, people often think that it's normal and natural for their dog to have red skin, or for them to have noisy breathing, or dogs with flat faces. This is actually, it might be very common for those animals, but it's not healthy at all. Red skin is a sign of inflammation. That is could well be because of a reaction to animal-sourced allergens in the diet. It could also be skin parasites such as fleas and an allergic reaction to that. But very commonly, it can be dietary allergens. So people may think it's normal, but that's only because their dog has never been properly treated for this. And actually, it's like having a situation where your own skin is permanently itchy and inflamed. It's not pleasant for the animal. Likewise, animals with sort of very short muzzles and flattened faces have noisy breathing. Some owners think that is cute and they don't realize what's going on there. It's a sign of respiratory distress. It means that those animals could not tolerate very much exercise. They would probably collapse if they had to run for very long. They're at greater risk under anesthesia. They're not likely to live as long. They suffer when it's hot weather because they can't breathe as efficiently. This is not actually healthy at all. So it's not cute, it's not nice, and it's not something that we should be prolonging by breeding animals with those traits. So as a vet or somebody concerned about the welfare of companion animals, you become aware of these sorts of issues.
This is just a glimpse of one of the many conversations we've had on this channel. If you found this thought-provoking, please don't forget to subscribe and explore more insights from unfiltered voices and the real-world experts. And please don't forget to like and share this video to as many people as possible. It keeps us going. See you in the next one.